Welcome, Bills fans, to the first off-season edition of Bills Talk. Happy New Year to all of you Bills fans, and today we got some news to talk about. Mostly just the end of the year review and basically the whole staff, I guess, and the future head coaching job of the amazing Buffalo Bills. So, Brandon, introduce yourself and start us off.
All right, well, all of you know that Gailey got fired today, and rightfully so. We still don't know about Buddy next, but to go over the season, Gailey really didn't have to. Gailey put himself to be fired. There were a lot of winnable games this year that the Bills could have had. Both Patriot games, the Rams, Titans, Colts. We went through this, maybe the past month, but Gailey still could be the head coach if he, made better decisions.
So yeah, I think everyone agrees that they made the right decision, basically about letting go of basically the whole staff. And I think the real problem going into this now is who we get for these positions. And so this is going to be the next thing we talk about: the future staff, head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. The Bills in the past always, hire those coaches who are worn out in the past, and they're almost at quote unquote giving them another chance, and end up failing. And so, who is your? Let me just ask you this: who is your number one guy that you want for the next head coach job? Not like they have no limits. Like everyone in the world right now wants to go to the Buffalo Bills. Who would you want right now?
Wait, so realistically?
Not realistically, just who would you want right now that's available, and then we'll go into realistically.
Realistically, I would say Bill Cowher, but he brings that discipline that this team is lacking. He's a leader of men, and he knows both sides of the ball.
Now we talked about this at on Christmas. Me and my brother, we really want Chip Kelly, head coach of Oregon, because really, the downside about all of this would be, college coaches, especially in college nowadays. Really, most of the teams have no defense, but the way he runs his offense and everything is just absolutely spectacular, and basically every expert, I guess you could say, is saying he's the type of coach that's the future of the NFL. Basically going for it on every fourth down. Just making the risky calls that actually is the right choice nowadays. That Gailey never made. Always making kicking the ball on the 35 when you can just kick a field goal. Some simple things like that. Let's go into realistically now. Let's talk about the rumors, I guess, of Lovie Smith. What do you think about Lovie Smith? Well, what's your take?
First off, to be honest, before Lovie Smith got fired, I was thinking about Rob Ryan. I was thinking about Kyle Shanahan, Bruce Arians, and then Lovie Smith got fired. I don't know how realistic that is, but it could be Andy Reid. I think a lot of people on our page and replies on my Twitter really want Andy Reid. I really don't see that happening.
No. If Andy Reid's gonna have a job somewhere, it's not. It's gonna be it's not gonna be Buffalo. It's gonna be the two dumpiest teams of this year if they're gonna go for him. I don't see any above average team getting him. I don't see it happening.
Or ESPN, John Clayton said that Ken Wisenhunt would be a good fit as a head coach. I really don't. I can't complain with that. He's a solid head coach. He turned around Arizona. Even though they had Kurt Warner, but still he's an upgrade than Gailey or Jerome.
And really, I think you'd have to really screw up to be worse to get someone that's worse than Gailey. But at the same time, no matter who you get, you have that. I mean, I think anyone coming into Buffalo has that chance of becoming another Chan Gailey. So
Yeah.
it's not more or less who we hire. I think it's the added not. I think it's really how the Bills not spend their money, I guess, on the players that we get. How smart we do with the players that we get, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really. I think with coaching, you need players who want to play, and I think the Bills have enough talent. I just don't. That's why I think the Bills have talent. This is hard to say, but again, the coaching wasn't there. So I think we need to get a coach that's gonna really put the discipline on, really bring that heart and to the team.
I listen a lot to Jerry Sullivan, and a lot of people don't like him because he's negative, but he really speaks to true points, and I'm as big a Bills fan as anyone, but I agree with him that out of the 7 teams that are looking for head coaching, the Bills are at the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
I'm a firm believer in that. I agree with it. Andy Reid, I think at the bottom of the list, Buffalo would be there, unless if there's a type of change in ownership.
That's
maybe
exactly.
If Kelly and Thurman were running the team, maybe they would have a shot at it. John Gruden or Bill Cowher. I just have no idea.
That's exactly the changing. That's exactly what turns the tide from these coaches is what we've done in the past. How much effort we've shown when trying to build up a team. It seems like the past. Well, since I've been watching the Bills, it's almost as if Ralph and our GM has put in little to no effort on truly trying to build a powerhouse team, and I think that really starts with just the owner, and I just don't think we've shown enough to bring in someone big and say we want you to be the head coach. No one wants to come here because no one wants to be a part of this organization. It's almost as if it's like a death sentence to like a head coach.
Yeah, and I get that the owner is 94 years old, but I think that has a big part of playing it too. Mm-hmm. Most of these teams have decent young owners, way younger than 94. So I think that plays in. When they go in for an interview and sit down with the owner, it's really going to be tough sitting next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to have a conversation with a 94-year-old.
And it's. I think Ralph, with how old he is, he still wants that. He's kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna say this to the point where people might understand what I'm saying, but he's looking for a different type of football than what coaches want. The coaches are nowadays. I think he's
basically what you're saying. He's old school.
Yes, basically.
And the game has evolved.
Yes.
Where.
Exactly with Chan Gailey. I mean, Chan Gailey brought the spread in, but you could just tell. I mean, the play calls he made were just very old school, just very conservative, and I don't like that in coaches nowadays. You can't do that.
Absolutely, and I take a look at the Harbaughs as a classic example. Coaches who know both sides of the ball and will do whatever they can do to win.
And I think what really gets me just wanting just someone like them is you watch a Bills game, you see kind of like a swing call, really could go either way. You watch the Harbaughs, they freak, they'll hop on those refs and you're just yelling it looks like they want to win so bad and just that they care about this so much. Then you look the Bills head coaches the last couple of years. Something will happen. They show them on the sideline. They're just looking as if they have no clue what's going on. They just want to leave. That's basically what it looks like, and that gets me pissed off when I see that. I mean, just a little thing like that might even get your players more, wanting to win for you. Being happy that they're your coach.
And I always look, Bill Cowher and John Gruden always have that classic face when they get really ticked off.
I couldn't tell you the last Bills coach that honestly, ran up a sideline just to scream at a ref, knowing that the call isn't going to change.
Really, we don't, and no one knows right now the future of GM Buddy Nix. Right, it is still up in the air. A lot of people in the Buffalo News said that he probably will be gone, but who knows? What are your thoughts about Buddy?
See, this is tough because I would like to see him paired up, with kind of with Lovie Smith. Say if we got Lovie Smith, I would say give Buddy, maybe 1 or 2 more years. Buddy brought in, he helped pretty much bring in Mario Williams. What has Buddy done, to really make this a 6-10 team? I mean, with the team, you got to more look with the coach, and that's Gailey, all the play calling. But as general manager, building the team, getting the players, I think he's done a decent job. He even said, we're going to be drafting our franchise quarterback. So I say, if he goes, then if he goes, it's going to change nothing about my opinion. Just still you got to get someone. But if he stays, that also just it's like an it's just one of those things where I couldn't really care for 1 more year, but we will see how it ends up. If that makes sense.
Well, I've always I even wrote an article, about Buddy Nix, and I'm a firm believer in him. He brought in the pieces. His drafts are decent, but the first 3 picks in each one of his drafts are big time, are going to be big time playmakers. C.J. Spiller is a superstar, and he drafted him when everyone else disagreed with him.
Can I cut in real quick? C.J. Spiller last week against the Jets, 3rd and 10. Chad Gailey doing that same old, give up on 3rd and 10 play, and he breaks out, screen pass for a touchdown. That honestly just it blew my mind again. It's just amazing what this guy can do, and I can't believe we didn't use him as much as we did this year. Please give me a coach that's gonna, almost base our offense around him. Not necessarily giving it to him every play, but basing your offense, fakes with him, making him being a decoy on some plays. I would like to see that next year.
Yeah, and that's the point. Will they go after defense or offensive guy? But I want them to go for just an all-around football man. Not just one side of the ball, just a football man. That's what Cowher, that's what Gruden is, and that's what Andy Reid is. But going back to Nix, I think he's done enough to stay. He got all the pieces there and told Gailey and his staff, all right, I gave you everything. Now is your chance. The high expectations are near, and they didn't get it done.
Yeah,
and to everything seemed to fit, and I don't know. I even though he is 73, I mean, if he gets fired, they're just gonna promote within the organization. I mean, Doug Whaley is the assistant GM. He's very young. They're just going to promote him. So to me, it really doesn't matter about the GM. I think it depends the coaching staff.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, if they do decide, to get rid of him, I mean, it's just one of those things where it just could make a difference, I guess. But I mean, it will be bad or good. I mean, no one can tell. I mean, if they are going to stay in the organization, which, like you're saying, they probably would, I mean, that honestly does, I think, nothing with this. But it's just one of those, even coaching, drafting even, all this is just what ifs, no matter who you get, especially with our organization, it's just all, well, what if, it could go either way. That's all it is really right now. You can never be sure going into this kind of thing.
But the one thing that could get him fired would probably be maybe the extension of Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think in the tenure of Buddy Nix, that's the one huge biggest mistake. was signing him to that extension and not having a backup plan if it went south, and obviously it went south.
So yeah, I mean, basically, all in all, we're agreeing right now. I mean, people can leave in the comments that it's really all about the coaching staff. You know, nothing else. I mean, if Buddy Nix is gonna stay, honestly, I wouldn't. That would be actually. I would say that's a positive thing if we can get a solid coaching staff with Buddy Nix as our GM.
Yeah, we'll see. There are big rumors about maybe the owner changing, but I have no idea. But now since Ralph is back in Detroit, I think that just totally wipes away that.
Yeah.
Unless if maybe he doesn't have to be in Buffalo per se, but because they said it was a pre-recording. If it's going to happen, it's going to be a pre-recording of him, on a video. But you never know.
So I mean, all in all, here it's really this is a really hard thing to talk about. Honestly, it's just everyone has their own opinions, and at the end of the day, when something happens, it's just you got to watch it unfold. So, anything else to say about this? Last words.
No, not really. It's definitely been a fun year doing the game previews with you. Everything. But there'll definitely be more off-season podcasts, drafting and free agents and all that stuff.
Next year, I want to get in a nice routine, do it every week. So I'm gonna keep us up. And next year, I'm getting season tickets, so. For first time since 2004 for me, so I'm gonna have a great time in the whole season in general. So I mean, fun moments, but it's coming to an end, and I think in the long run, I'm ready to move on to next year already.
Yeah, and it's already started.
So. That the good thing about sports, I guess you could call it an off season, but if you're a true fan, there's never really an off season, so that's awesome. So thanks for sticking around with us, guys. If you're watching this video on YouTube, leave a comment. If you're watching it on our page, again, leave a comment, tell us what you think about this, and hopefully you'll stick with us. Thanks for supporting our page. Brandon, any last words?
Thanks for your support, and it's gonna be a long and interesting off season. So stick with us.